Runnemede Board of Education meeting is called to order. The Board of Education is in compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 entitled the Open Public Meetings Act. The time, date, and location of this meeting was appropriately advertised by notifying the retrospect, as well as posting notices at the Barrow Hall, Runnemede Post Office, Mary Volk School, Allied Bingham School, Grace Downing School, and the Runnemede Public School District website. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, board members.
Mrs. Dare.
Here.
Ms. Anderson. Ms. Beebe. Mr. Buckhan.
Here.
Ms. Davidson.
Here.
Mr. Lego.
Here.
Ms. Panzarella.
Here.
Ms. Spalding.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Also present, Mark Iannucci, Superintendent, Sean McCarron, Business Administrator, Supervisor of Curriculum Instruction, Ms. J. Gezzi, Principal, Bingham Downing School, Bill Silva, Vice Principal, Mary Volk School, Gladys Hubbard, Child Study Team Supervisor, and Frank Hines, Supervisor of Building and Grounds. At this time, I need a motion to approve the minutes from the August 29th regular board meeting, retreat, and executive.
I'll second.
So we have a motion made by Chaz, Dr. McCarron, seconded by Maria. Any questions?
Mrs. Dare.
Aye.
Mr. Buckhan.
Yes.
Ms. Davidson.
Yes.
Mr. Lego.
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella.
Yes.
Ms. Spalding.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I need a motion to approve the financial report period ending August 2017.
I'll make that motion to approve the financial report for the period ending August of 2017.
Second.
Motion made by Maria, seconded by Naomi. Roll call.
Mrs. Dare.
Yes.
Mr. Buckhan.
Yes.
Ms. Davidson.
Yes.
Mr. Lego.
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella.
Yes.
Ms. Spalding.
Yes.
Motion passes.
We have some presentations, Ms. Iannucci.
Mr. Silva, I know you have some young ladies and some
Today we
folks you'd
have
like to introduce tonight. Take it away.
members of our girls soccer team, and they're here to tell us about their new opportunity, their season, and they are accompanied by Coach Wardamus and Coach Ambler.
So again, I'm Miss Ambrose. I teach here at Bolt, and this is Miss Wardile. She's over at Bingham. So we brought our three captains here today to present to you guys what we have going on in the season and new things for us, because this is the first year ever for the girls soccer team. So I know I was super excited, and so were the girls here. But so you guys can present away.
Good evening, board members. My name is Kendall, and I'm an 8th grader here at Mary Volk. With me, I have two other 8th graders, Jenna and Victoria. We are here to represent the Mary Volk girls soccer team. This is the first year for the girls soccer team here at Volt. Previous years, we shared a team with the boys. Having a girls soccer team allows us to prepare better for the Triton High School girls team, allows girls to have a better chance on making the school soccer team, and helps create long-lasting friendships and memories.
We wanted to thank the board members for funding that allowed us to receive new uniforms. Tori is showing you our new uniforms that we love, especially because they are women's fit. We practice and play all our games at Green Acres Park. Yesterday we had our first game against Berlin. Berlin is usually a very strong team. We did not win yesterday, however we surprised ourselves on how we all connected and played like a team. We would love for you all to come watch one of our games, which are all posted on the school website. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. we are against Barrington. Please come out and support our very own Lady Hawks.
Are you home or
Where are you? You're home tomorrow, right? I looked.
Yeah, Green Acres.
They play at Green Acres.
Yes.
Green Acres
4 o'clock.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you very much.
Good luck in your season.
Thank you.
Next up, we have some board business to take care of as far as filling the vacant positions. We have 3 people here tonight that are interested in this position. Each person who's interested an opportunity to speak to the board. And then after that, we will go into executive session. Vote on that approved a little bit later this meeting. So I'm going to go left to right. Mr. Murray is sitting right.
Press on. Okay, hello everybody, my name is Dan Murray. I'm a Runnemede resident since 1967. I've come through these schools myself over the years, and when I got married, my wife was a Triton graduate. We got married, and our son came through all this Runnemede school system. Over the years, I've been involved in several outside activities. RYAA, I was everything from the groundskeeper to a trustee. So when you get into an organization, what's expected of you. So over the years, I've been involved in different things. The Runnemede Firehouse, I've been involved in for 15 years. And if you don't know, I'm a Runnemede police officer now for over 20 years. So what happened, over the summer, we put together a junior police academy, and it just sparked my interest again in the children. When I see these girls up here, I'm just smiling the whole time, and I just wanted to get back involved, and that's why I'm here tonight. So thank you for your time.
Are we asking questions individually, or are we waiting till the end?
You can ask an individual question if you
Oh,
like.
no, I don't want to go out of
No.
what we're supposed to do.
We don't have a set. No, I had said that it was okay, yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Good.
I bet I know your names.
What's up?
Good.
All right, so anyway, I am huge on commitment and attendance, which we have had issues with, huge. And in case I haven't stressed it enough, it is so important to me. Is there anything that is going to prevent you from attending our meetings and fulfilling, not only attending our meetings, but fulfilling your responsibilities as a board member, which in this forum right here is not an elected official position, but for all of us, it was, with the exception of Mr. Lego. The bottom line is there anything that's going to prevent you from either attending a meeting on a Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever it ends up being, number one, and number two, so I need to know that you're open to Tuesdays or Wednesdays, and that your intention is that at least once a month, you're going to be able to come to the meetings.
Yes, I have court on Mondays in town, and that's the only night that I have a commitment. Other than that, I'm open. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are fine. I don't know that there's records, but as a past member of the RY, I don't just, if I'm getting into something, I commit to it. Okay. And that's what I do. I attend the meetings and I do everything I need to do.
Okay. Other than, as you stated, your interest that was rekindled, over the summer and so on and so forth. Do you have any personal agenda as a school board member?
No.
Okay. That's all I have.
Yes.
Sure. Hi, I'm Naomi Davidson. School Boards Association is our association that helps us, trains us, gives us help when we don't know the answers. And as a requirement as a school board member, we are required to attend training classes. Are you willing and open to doing that?
Yes, I can take off if need be, or I can just go on my days off of my schedule, so I'm definitely available for
Now, just I saw one.
The new board member orientation is now a whole weekend long. That's new information, and it's fully funded, so it's no cost to anyone.
Just time.
Okay. So, yeah, the time's not a problem.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
This is directed for the three candidates going to speak this evening. At our last board meeting, I'm trying to remember which candidate, which board member brought up it. I thought it was a great goal. Every one of the board members are going to work on getting at least the first certification as a certified board member, which requires you to take a certain number of courses. Courses don't cost you any money, but it costs you your time. This board is committed to getting every board member as a certified board member, and so we hope that each of the candidates that are interested are willing to put that kind of an effort into this program.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you my word. I'll put whatever effort in to do what I have to do with Candace.
And I would have to agree with my colleague down the end of the table there. I've been extremely frustrated with the lack of attendance by some board members. But in all fairness to those individuals, a major problem has been with their employment. Their employment hours were changed in a way that they couldn't attend. It wasn't that they were skipping on purpose, but we really need people that are committed to this board, because we're committed to the kids in this district, the teachers, everybody.
And that's one of the things that helped me come forward now, is that not to get into my work, but our job, we used to rotate schedules, and now I'm steady days. My day ends at 5:30 if I'm scheduled to work that day, so I am available for evenings.
I have one last question, unless you guys have anything. Like Naomi said, the New Jersey School Board Association is like who governs us and guides us. As far as you know, there isn't any conflict of interest as far as like voting or superintendent searches or hiring or anything like that that you would be aware of. I mean,
As far as
sorry. I didn't mean, I like, you know what I mean.
No,
Oh, wow. I just got it. And I tried to like go around the room before we got it.
the board is running.
I'm trying to not die right now because
Oh my gosh, I didn't get it.
No, I believe the board's one of the few things that as a police officer we're allowed to be involved in, and I know there's been past police officers involved.
Sure
in
there
this
is,
board,
yes.
And other boards in the neighboring communities.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I have one other quick comment to make again to all the candidates. Some people, when they want to become a member of a Board of Education, they don't realize what the job is of a board member. And I think that's critical. We're not micromanagers. We're not here to manage the school district. We're here to write policy, approve policy, and then make sure that our superintendent is enforcing those policies. So no one, us sitting up here, has a hidden agenda. We're here for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to make this the best school possible for our children, period.
Agreed.
I agree.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Hummel, I know we spoke with you previously, so we'll reintroduce yourself in case you weren't here that evening. So thank you for coming.
Charles Hummel, right on her shaft here. Been in town here for about 15 years. I have one child here at Volt in 6th grade. Loves it, loves the social studies class this year. Very good teacher there. In terms of my interest with the board, you know, my wife is a teacher in the district for, 20-some years. I've learned a lot from her to see what goes on. No hidden agenda, but I'd like to participate and help out the community if I can. In my past, I've been in different management positions within retail, corporate, you know, continuously move up the chain. So it's kind of like a next progression to something else I can do for the community as well. Excuse me. In terms of attendance, no real issue there. I make the schedule with the store that I run over in Marlton, New Jersey. So barring my once-a-year trip to High Point, North Carolina for the furniture show, I would have no issue other than that. And in terms of learning, you know, doing the necessary classes and all that, I find that a nice challenge. I'd use an example when I was promoted my first time to a store manager position in retail. I stayed up to about 2 in the morning reading all the rules and policies, and the next day I was good to go. You know, so I can definitely comprehend and doing a little bit of reading on Google in terms of that separation between board and you're not to micromanage the schools, and there is a chain of command to follow. So have to learn a little bit still, but at the same time understand completely, you know, what would be Mark's job or Sean's at that point. Any questions?
Thank you for answering our questions for us.
Thank you.
Good
Good luck.
Yeah.
We have a question.
Hi, Chuck, Naomi. New Jersey school boards and the state requires all of us to be fingerprinted and also thorough background check. Are you okay with that process?
Yeah, completely.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, I've done it for security, I was a security position years ago, and probably thanks to
Thank you.
I have a question, real quick, just 'cause I'm sure this is on everybody's mind, but Maria's the only one that'll say it.
Okay.
Are you confident that you would be able to separate yourself personally from the requirements of a board member per se? I mean, there would be, I would imagine, if I had to take a wild guess, considering I had to abstain from so much, and I wasn't even married to anybody,
Right.
I just held the title. I would imagine that there's abstentions that will have to be made, you know, in terms of his ability to participate in certain discussions and votes and stuff. So that, all that being said, are you confident that you will be able to separate yourself, you know, personally from where this board would need you seated?
Yeah, I see no issue there, and we've already talked about it in terms of negotiations.
Okay.
That's basically where it would be at.
Right.
And I have to abstain from that, and that's what it is.
Okay.
So there's actually gonna be secrets in our marriage now.
Okay, thank you for your honest response.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And last but not least, we have Ms. Sands. Her?
Yeah,
Thanks for coming here.
sure. I'm Barbara Sands. I've lived in town since I was 1, gone to the schools. Now I have kids in the schools in Volts and Downey. More biased to them still, but I like to. I'm involved in the RYs. I coach the kids. I do scouts, trying to do scouts now with Runnemede. It's nice. I could do any of the training. A weekend away would be amazing.
I guess so with 4 kids. You can bring the kids, I think they have.
Yeah, I brought mine.
No.
Yeah, we don't bring
It's
them,
like-
no, there's no way, yeah. Yeah.
Any other questions? specific?
Yeah, Barb, obviously I know who you are. You and Jessica played field hockey together. What is your, prior to being, are you a stay-at-home mom now?
No, well, we're in determining, because my dad was the 100%.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get, what's your professional background? What experiences do you have in that area? I know it's the, she just lost a family member.
I do 401k administration in Burlington. I work 9 to 5. Thank you. Sorry. That's, you know.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other correspondence at this time? Thank you, all 3 of you for,
Thank you.
is there any other correspondence? That's Karen?
We're waiting for correspondence from the SCA just for the final 35% that we're waiting for on the rock grants, but they have not come back to me this week, so I'm still waiting for that. No other correspondence.
At this time, we are open for public comments on agenda items only. Okay. At this time, is there any members of the public who have any questions on the agenda items? No? Okay, go to the secretary's report then.
Okay, so for the business office, one thing that we just finished with our food service audit, we had our food service audit that I reported on. I want to say back in August as far as being finalized. We also had a procurement audit which reviewed how we procure goods. The audits go hand in hand. It's in from 2 separate divisions of the state as far as how they're doing those audits and coming out. And they're kind of creating the process. We were one of the first schools to go through that. So we went through that process. We worked with them. They gave different suggestions, but everything was in order that they were looking for. I had mentioned we are up and running with before and after care. We are over 90 families involved in the before and after care program, which is a little bit more than where we were last year. We are seeing an increased growth at the elementary schools. Last year we didn't have to add on a 3rd person because we always want to keep that 1 to 12 ratio. We didn't have to add a 3rd person on until later on. We had to start off with a 3rd person in both of the elementary schools this year. The feedback that we received from the summer program was extremely positive. We have already tried to plan out what that's going to look like for next year to make sure that we would be ready to go as of April. This year it went out a little bit later because we were waiting for budget approvals to get things in order, staffing, all that stuff. This upcoming year I'm hoping that we can put out information to families in March or April, and even when we look at like registration fees, the suggestion was even reducing or making it like half of a registration fee if you register by a certain date, so that we have a better idea and understanding of how many students will be participating. We also took the time to look at what other programs there were in the area and kind of doing a comparison between those programs and our programs. And a lot of times it's that advertising PR piece as far as, you know, people going to different programs or what the financial component was, but when you add things up, ours came out to be extremely similar, if not better at times for those families. As I said, we're preparing for the New Jersey School Board's convention. I've joined the education committee with school boards, so now I actually go up to Trenton 3 times a year to work on that education committee component with the business officials up there and try to plan that out. We've been working closely with St. Teresa's, which is our one non-public school within Runnemede, because we have to work with them on grants that we receive. So St. Teresa's, because they are in Runnemede, works with us directly on any grants or IDEA, ESSA. We're obligated to work with them and make sure that those are managed correctly. In the curriculum office, we have been reviewing, we're doing all of our initial STAR benchmark data assessments in grades K to 8, so we're about halfway through that. As soon as we'll be finishing that up. We do 3 benchmarks throughout the year, 1 in the fall, 1 after winter break, and 1 at the end of the year to measure growth over the course of the school year. For students who might be receiving interventions, we add in 1 in between each of those periods. So it ends up being about every 8 weeks that we're assessing where students are to see where any growth is needed. And we've done our observation schedule, so we'll be getting started with that. And as we said, that has been modified a little bit based on state needs, which is 2 observations for tenured teachers, 3 for non-tenured, and that's a minimum, which means that it can be more, however, that's a minimum required. And that's about it for right now.
I have a quick question, since we're on curriculum part. Sorry for the appearance, I was at a graduation this evening. Do we have any idea what we're gonna do about the data and what our objective is gonna be based on our last meeting?
So one thing we talked about with the curriculum committee this year was looking at the park data, because one thing that we talked about as an administrative team was when we talk about looking at growth of park data over time, park data is one snapshot of students at that grade level. Whereas when we look at the STAR benchmark assessment, it's showing their growth over the course of an entire school year. So it's actually measuring the skill growth from September all the way through June. When you look at the park data, it's not like the students in 2016 are taking the 4th grade assessment and retaking that 4th grade assessment in 2017 to show how they grew with those skills and standards. They're being tested on 2 totally separate things. So when we look at that, what I was explaining to the committee was the park data we analyze because what it does is it gives us breakdowns of standards. How are we performing as a district overall in teaching students the standards that they're being assessed on? And what's interesting is it'll show us where Runnemede is, it'll show us where other schools in the state are, and it'll show us where other cross-state schools are. And for the most part, Runnemede, you'll see, is right on line, if not above in some cases, and sometimes below. And then what we do as a district administrative team and with our teachers is we review those individual standards. What are we doing that's making us teach this so well, and what can we do to improve this area? So, and the other piece with the park assessment is using that along with our benchmark data to look at each individual grade level and content area to assess what programs do we need to modify curriculum, add to, or bring additional resources for. Something that you don't see on the park data is the individual student profile. For every single student, we're analyzing where students are. We're looking at all benchmark scores. From those benchmark scores, we're identifying what students need interventions. We're tracking them throughout. Unfortunately, you don't see all the programs that we have within the, not you, as the public. You don't see all the programs that we have within the district, or all the special education resources that are available, or intervention resources, or gifted and talented resources, because what gets published in the newspaper? The scores. And that's kind of what the public looks at overall. So that was kind of the conversation that we were having with the committee at that time.
So I guess we're not going to put a number out there, so it all comes down to?
Well, in terms of looking at numbers, we can absolutely put a number, but I would put that number not on the park data, but on the benchmark assessments.
Well, we had talked about that.
Correct,
We
yeah.
had talked about that. I didn't
So,
say
no,
it was park,
but well, I think that what we were looking at and looking back at last month's meeting, the focus was also on the park data specifically. So in terms of looking at that, we were trying to really identify how is it that we can show that assessment or that growth. And one of the ways that we will be doing that is through the benchmark data, which is presented to the board, and we will be giving that out.
Has there been any talk on, like, I know at first, when Park first came out, it was questionable as to how long it was even, I mean, has there been any talk about a new standardized test?
Well, many of the states throughout the United States in the last 2 years
Have-
have dropped the park
Correct,
tax.
and that's,
Um,
we're not
I-
worried about New Jersey.
Well, I don't think anything is going to happen
Okay.
until the next election,
Okay.
depending on who's governor. I would imagine if we have a Republican governor, I think she's going to keep park in
Okay.
place.
Okay.
And I think if we have a Democrat governor,
It'll let someone-
there's a good chance the park's gonna go bye-bye.
Okay. So again, while we have this discussion about how important park scores are, I have to state that not for me. Benchmark what's going on here under this building, what the kids are tested on, that we're teaching them, that our staff is responsible for teaching them. I will repeat this until the day I'm not here. I have a straight A student who does not do well. I have a National Honor Society student who doesn't do well on park tests. So park data and saying to our teachers, you have to get 2% higher on park is irrelevant to me personally. I understand that everybody has their own thoughts on it, but again, show me what our teachers are teaching the kids, and how we as a district are looking for higher scores there is what matters to me personally.
And you're gonna get a copy from Sean, and when you do, take a look at the STAR assessments. Well, we're looking at grades 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're seeing, on average, a 1.5-year growth per year.
Benchmark.
Yes.
Exactly my point. And that's why I
That's
say, why are
tremendous.
we worried about putting a
Well,
percentage on
if
park
your
tests?
school district is having a
I can't.
0.7 to 0.9, which is
Right.
a 7 to 9 month growth,
Right.
that's good.
Yes.
Above that is very good.
Again, that's what matters to me, not the park tests.
And one thing I will say, when you look at the park assessment, because I'm always trying to look at what the purpose is behind everything. Why do we have the state assessment? What's the reasoning behind it?
State.
And part of it is, number one, we do it because we are a public school district receiving state funds. The other is ensuring the fact that as a district, we are teaching the New Jersey student learning standards, that we are teaching the Common Core standards, and that our students are showing that they are understanding those pieces. So that's like a checks and balances as state money and federal money is coming into the schools. That's one way in which the states and the government is able to see that those standards are being addressed and that they are being taught. However, there's a lot of different snapshots that are also taken that aren't necessarily shown when you look at data that's published out to the public.
That's what we talked about last meeting, though. We weren't really talking about park per
One
se.
specific,
We specifically said, whatever your way of analyzing is your way of analyzing. We just want to make sure if there's growth, there's no fallback.
Absolutely.
And to put a number out there as a goal, not that it's literally just a goal. It's something that we're trying to achieve.
No, and I
That's all it
agree
really
with
is.
that
You know what I'm
100%.
saying? So,
Absolutely.
not necessarily park, it's whatever you feel as the educator, because I'm not an educator, I'm a numbers business person. I don't know a ton about education.
Well, one thing that we talked
You know?
about with the committee also was like when you look at the benchmark scores, when we look at that grade equivalent growth as far as what students are doing from September through June, we're looking for 0.8, which is 8 months, to 1.2 as that growth. A part of the data that isn't being shown are the fact that those numbers are then broken down even further. So, we have Mrs. Hummel in the audience, who's a teacher in the district. Like, she can tell you, she gets her individual scores. And like, we do have individual meetings with teachers, whether positive or whether how can we improve this, to discuss where scores are, what are we doing, how can we improve that. And we're able to have that not just at the end of the year, but it's important to have those conversations in the middle of the year, which is when we are assessing that middle of the year growth. So when we talk about, those things, I'm trying to think of what's the best way to show the public, to show the board, all of those pieces that we're doing and all of the things that we have in place. Because we have a ton of things in place as a district that you might not see elsewhere. And in terms of looking at the park scores, it's different skills each year that students are being assessed on, so it's not like they're being assessed each year on that same test from year to year. It's a new test, it's a new set of questions, it's a new set of skills. So that's why I would really focus on the benchmark scores, which we do have, and which, we do present.
Since you threw me out there, I'm curious to see how next year third graders are going to do, because you have to realize Park was made by Pearson. We actually adopted the curriculum for Pearson and Visions about, I guess when the second grade group now was in kindergarten. So next year those third graders are going to have Pearson, which is made by Park, that makes the Park test, in kindergarten, first, second, all the way up. So you might see a difference with that, but I definitely agree with Dr. McCarron too, with the fact that each class is different. To put all your eggs into the park basket.
No, that wasn't said to put all our eggs in the park basket at all. By any means, that was not the intent at all. It was just every year we say to help improve instruction and help everyone further. It was, let's put some type of black and white number out there, whether it's a number used on this or a number used on park or whatever they decide the best way to do it. Again, that's not something that I would be able to decide. It wasn't necessarily just on park by any means.
Because each teacher has an SGO where we do have, say, okay, we're gonna get all our kids up to reading levels or up this. So we all have personal goals along that same line.
Right. That's kind of where it's coming from, actually. It was coming from a top goal to filter down.
I'm gonna speak and say, nobody's, I'm probably sure coming to teach here and saying, you know what, I wanna drop a couple points this year, just a thought. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that pretty much, if you're here still, that's
And again, it wasn't teacher oriented either.
No, I get it.
It was grade level oriented, and it was, what we had mentioned was,
It's
where they're going from the same group of kids from year to year, not even just individual, where's fourth
Grades,
grade this
right.
year, where's fourth grade next year, because you might
Right.
have one
It's
fourth
all
grade
about
that's
Exactly.
a little bit more struggle, and the next one might be a bunch of geniuses coming through, you know what I mean?
Not
You
age, just
can't-
because you get young groups.
young,
Right.
exactly.
It's just progression going through time, it's really all we were thinking of.
Thank you. So they met today beforehand and they're gonna reach out to us. I think Mr. Buckheim said within the week, right?
Yes,
Committee met?
this year, as each committee meets, by that week's Friday, so we met today, by Friday, each of us will get an email through our board site as to the summary of the meeting, and that will happen with every committee. That way you're better informed.
Thank you.
That would come from me attached.
That will come from superintendent's office.
Thank you for answering, Sean.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Mark, my turn. Enrollment. Good evening,
Want
everybody.
that every
Cold?
it's freezing.
So we have a lot of kids in the district now, we gotta keep them cool.
I am old.
Currently, district enrollment, we're 857 students, 10 hours replacements. Our enrollment at Bingham and Downing, we have roughly 181 students each building, which is a lot. I know in the last 5 years, we haven't had that balance. We've had to move some students who have come into register at the end of August or early September, move them over from one school next, depending on what our numbers look like. We have some class sizes that have 48, 49, 50 kids to be split between 2 teachers. And they're really at the lower levels, which is a concern. So we don't want to, we have a new family that comes in, we don't want to load up a classroom that already has 24 or 25 kids in it. If you have 26, 27, we still have some classes over at another school, we might only have 21 or 22. Making those changes throughout the year. Our out-of-district placements.
We have appropriate aids in these larger classes, like do we have?
In some of the classrooms, I know, Ms. Hummel, you have a diverse group of student population with various hands that come in throughout the day.
Usually it's just the beginning and end of the day.
Yeah.
They're attached to students.
If we get to a number where our policy dictates it, we will provide an additional support staff member in those classrooms.
What's the match you draw?
We can go up to 30, 35.
I didn't say what could you, I said what's the match you would go up to?
Before I put additional support in?
No, before we consider the need for another
Well, we
place.
can look for a county labor, go 26.
I think that, just to, Mr. Irish and I had this conversation
Oh,
today,
okay.
he is well aware of how the board feels.
Oh,
that
because
if
I'm
we
gonna
need
tell you
someone
something,
hold
if
down-
I don't speak on behalf of anyone, I don't speak on behalf of anyone. We pride ourselves on the smaller end of the median of class
Well, I've
sizes. And when I hear 26, 27, I'm like, oh.
Well, I'll be honest with you, if we had some grand movement in the next couple of weeks where you had 6 or 7 kids move into a certain grade, we
I
have
get
to
it.
look into adding additional
Like I
class
said,
and
okay.
splitting one particular class up.
Whatever you have to do.
And that's exactly where I'm going.
Yes, so we're always looking at that.
Okay.
I mean, Dr. McCarron might lose his office.
All right, that's fine. If you could split it between a 2-year-old preschool, that would be great.
I'm just trying to.
I know, he turned 5 last week, he's ready for computer.
Currently, we have 10 out-of-district placements. Last year, we had 14. So be able to try to keep those students in Runnemede. And Ms. Hubbard's worked very hard over the last year or so with her
And we
staff
appreciate her.
to bring those kids in, and
I
we're
do.
also supporting those students
I do.
as best we can. Opening day activities, I put that in my report, I'm not going to read that publicly. Just want to thank all the teachers for their participation. I know their green screen was used, I know Mrs. Holmes is showing a teacher here, I'm going to keep looking at you. You know, we do a green screen. Ms. Holmes, you want to share what you participated in the green screen, you teach like a pirate? or
Oh,
anything
Teach
that?
Like a Pirate.
I did see your
Just-
video.
Well, the funny thing is, Teach Like a Pirate, it's all about interacting with the kids. And at the elementary level, we do interact with the kids. I mean, everything's like basically role playing and being crazy, and that's how you have to be in elementary school to keep these kids' attention.
So your video is good.
So you were
Of course it
smart,
was.
is what
Very
you're
good, I
telling
enjoyed
me.
it.
Okay.
Costumes and everything.
Also want to thank Mrs. Epstein, conducting the literacy workshop. You'll see some stuff that's tied to that later on from the board. Regarding Dr. McCarron, right on cue, trombone shorty. Our staff members will be teaching the kids this year. We'll also do a fundraiser, staff fundraiser throughout each month to raise money for this trombone shorty need, which supports music program that we down in New Orleans, correct?
And anyone who was affected by the hurricanes, they're raising money for. What actually happened was from this, Ms. Epstein started working with different teachers over at Bowles, and during one of the advisory periods, the students started coming up with different community-based activities as far as how they could help out with the cause and how they can do different fundraising and things like that. So it was kind of like something that happened organically with the students in the room and the teachers, and now that teacher, I know Ms. Schreiber and Ms. Epstein are kind of taking the lead with that as far as getting things, approvals in place, and then the students are kind of running with it too.
And I know Mr. Silva's been involved with incorporating this in more of our kind of
Character.
character education and service
Yeah.
projects that we're doing. So I want to thank him and his support. I know Ms. Epstein has been in the office today for a while. So I want to thank her for her PD, as well as Mr. Bedore with the technology stuff. A lot of you attended the back to school barbecue the week after we last met. Great turnout. I know the line was like
Well,
All the way to
around
the
the parking lot, waiting for Mrs. Wilson and group.
Oh, she worked until the
Miss
rains
Pollock, right?
came, man. Oh, yeah.
I do have to thank one of our your colleagues from the Black Horse Bike Board, who always comes every year. Mr. Buscheroni always gets his grill fired up, that volunteers his time, so I was gonna send him a thank you on behalf of the Board of Education and our students. Back to school nights took place
There were so
last
many.
week, well attended. I know, Bolt's parking lot was packed, the lines were wrapped around the corner. Bingham and Downey, same thing, tweaked things at Bingham and Downey this year. And then Mrs. Yezi sent out a survey to her parents, positive feedback. I love the
Yeah,
official
and I'll
number
share
was.
a complete report, for the next board meeting, but great, feedback from the parents, really positive, results, so that's always nice.
Absolutely.
I try to ask specific questions so we know what to continue doing, what to change, and I always enjoy change, so it's nice to do things, and then if they work, it's a bonus, and if it's not, we get to make it work for the community, so, yeah, I'm excited to share that with you guys, so.
Good. We talked about boosting our communication throughout the district this year. We have the signs out there. We're also going to not only convey school events, but I know we've gotten some feedback from the council with some things they're promoting. I know they're promoting a yard sale, correct? Coming up
yes,
in a couple of weeks.
September 30th.
It's
Ready date, October 1st.
Absolutely. So we'll be
Townwide
promoting-
yard sale.
We'll be promoting some of those things for them as well. We're also using the text message service, which you probably received some of that if you're a parent in town, through real time. I know the principals will be sending out roughly on a weekly basis of upcoming events to remind them. I think it goes out on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I know we're trying, I know Steve and I discussed different things that we're trying, like I sent the email, the survey with the email, and then I did a text reminder to see if that, and just kind of like checks and balances with some of our communication, so I know that I'm gonna just see what's coming up in the week ahead and see what's probably the best way to communicate that. If it's just a picture day reminder, maybe it'll just be a text. If it's something a little bit more lengthy or something more creative, then I'll do an email, or maybe we'll do both. I don't know. We're gonna try a bunch of new things, so.
I also know one of the things I had asked Mr. Silva to do for our sports teams was to have a parent meeting to review the expectations for parents. I'd love for it to be mandatory and all parents come, but I understand their schedules are tough. So Mr. Silva went in front of the green screen the other day with Mr. Benoit, and he videotaped the presentation. Excuse me, they recorded it, videotape is out of date. They recorded the presentation, and it's posted, I believe. So if a parent wasn't able to attend the meeting, they can watch Mr. Silva, living color. It'd be great. You'll love it. I think.
Do they have a
backdrop behind you?
Yeah, they'll be back.
Stadium
Right in
backdrop?
front of me backdrop. I was looking for the stadium.
We have to figure that out. Just another way to communicate those things. We even talked about maybe for teachers communicate by recording messages to parents or stuff like that.
That's right.
Not to
You
take
can
a
do a
personal
district
touch.
one for like our district
Absolutely.
webpage. See, I see
Yeah.
your pictures up there now. You could do like
That's
a
a
little
scary
video.
That's special. I saw it.
You can do a
I am
little
so
video now.
happy.
What?
Excuse me, Mr. Ryan, can I ask Mr. Silva, do
Sure.
our sporting parents have a code of conduct here that they have to?
There is. Yep, there's
Okay.
a sportsmanship
Okay.
content there. So.
Yeah.
I obviously didn't sign that as a parent, not that I
You
was ever
did.
a problem. Did I? No, I must have behaved.
You did.
Yeah, right.
I always behave, but I'm saying like, I don't remember.
Some upcoming events, we have the Downing Playground Community Build, which comes up October 7th.
You guys have that down on your calendar. It's October 7th, the community build for our playground at Downing.
Did leave out some sign-up sheets at back to school nights at Bingham and Downing. There are specifics that we have to, adhere by. We can't have
Absolutely.
Children, obviously, with machinery happening. And
Krista can operate.
Mr. Hines is also very integral in this community build, so more information will come about that. We also have a.
If anyone's interested though,
Yeah.
if anyone else is interested in signing up, they can contact Ms. Sweeney over at Downing Elementary, and I know she has a sign-up sheet there as well.
Yeah, we had about 20 parents back to school night sign up. I did send them an email the other day. We had some staff show interest. I've been working with Frank to make sure we have enough leaders and enough volunteers and everybody kind of knows what they're getting into.
Do we have enough? Because if not, I was gonna ask if you could put it like on Facebook. 'Cause
Yeah,
I don't know
I will.
that the community knows much
No.
about it.
Right, no, we're trying, it's
No.
kind of one of those
It's
things
one of
that we
those
were
things.
trying on a small scale to start. It's almost funny, it's like you don't want 20, but you don't want 120 either, because, you know,
But people can work in
you
shifts.
want,
is
yeah,
what-
yeah, it's true, but it's like, it's a pretty big process and assembly, and we've been working with the gentleman from landscape structures to make sure that we're on point. Frank and I have been, having conversations almost on a daily basis to set it up, but I probably will be reaching out to the
Yeah.
community, probably within the next few days. I
And
just,
we do want people though who can be there from 7:30 to 2:30.
right, because
Because
you
they're
need to
going
come in,
over
I
though
hate to
the
set
instructions in the
sometime.
beginning.
Yeah.
So even those shifts, like they're like, if there's people who,
You'll get
like,
people who can only stay 3 hours.
they're
and
like,
they
oh,
have to
they'd
leave.
rather have the people who can
Who
be
can
there
stay
the whole time.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're giving those instructions and they wanna make sure that like, when you start building and you're like, hey, what can I move?
Yeah.
They want it to
Yeah.
make sure that
Yeah,
like
that
from
makes
start to
sense.
finish,
I
everything's
hear
in
you.
there with that piece.
So we'll have more information on that.
Yes,
And
that's-
other event is Illusionist Top Cover comes November 17th. I know that is a presentation Dr. Karen has put in place. More information on that about the Peace and Respect program. So also obviously like that. I believe that's all I have for you tonight.
Gosh.
So thank you. Questions?
Yeah, just one, because we just started school, everyone's back in the group. Is it possible at our October board meeting that you present what the benchmark goals are for sustainable schools as one of our
Yes.
goals?
Yep.
So that we can see if we've attained those goals. We don't know what those goals are, we don't know whether or not we accomplished anything.
Right.
So we can have a presentation as to what the committee has determined to be the goals for this school year under sustainable schools.
About that back to school barbecue, Frank, where are you? I
Right
can't
here.
see you. I just want you to know that the rains had come, the hamburgers were gone, and the man with the animals got stuck in the dirt, right? I'm not kidding, it was a hot mess outside. This man comes out of nowhere, gets on a tractor, I don't know where he went because he disappeared, he like went to like the other parking lot or something. I don't know, he came back and he diligently worked. Like I said, everybody was gone, I was late to the council meeting because of it. I watched him rescue this huge truck and trailer with all these animals. It probably would have cost that guy a small fortune for a tow out of there. And he just did it. It was pouring, and he said, so Frank, once again,
Thank you.
there was out there. It was I was cracking up the whole time. I'm going to space the video. It was fun.
So, principals reports, nurses, building grounds, special education reports, is there any questions there? They are, this will go on, online attached to our agenda. Does anyone have any questions on any of them?
Before you have any questions, I just want to remind you,
Yeah.
the drills, fire drill, we don't usually report until October of the
Yes.
previous.
They
year.
noted that in their reports. PTA report, I don't think anyone's here. Committee reports, anyone have anything this month?
Well, I've got 3 committees.
We do it.
Dennis, come January, I know you're going to be willing to help me out. I sit on the board of directors for the Camden County Educational Services Commission, and just progress. There's nothing major that's happened, other than a surprise. I've only been on this committee 10 months, and the superintendent of the Camden County Educational Services Commission has never had an annual evaluation. Well, he's going to have one now. So that's something that we've added. Because I was questioning why isn't there an annual evaluation? But he's going to be evaluated. New Jersey School Boards, I am the delegate, and our first meeting will be in November. My colleague Naomi has, from her meeting that she was recently at, has the information. There are some resolutions. So board members, once I get it from Naomi tonight, I'll read through it for a few days, and then I'll send out an email to everyone as to the resolutions, because I want your feedback as to what your feelings toward it. That's extremely important. So please make sure you check your computer next week, look at these resolutions, and give me your feedback. I want to vote representing everyone, not just one board member. I also attended the zoning board meeting last week. They hired an outside consultants firm for a redevelopment of Black Horse Pike. They were at the previous month's meeting. They were supposed to be there this month and do a presentation. Mayor, who sits on the committee, announced that they were not going to be there that night, so it's kind of on a hold right now, and they are going to be presenting some ideas at the October zoning board meeting. The only other thing that happened at zoning board were 2 variances were approved. There was a variance for a piece of 2 properties next to each other, and the one gentleman is surrendering, I think it was 8 or 9 feet of his property over to his neighbor, so that neighbor then can have his own driveway. That was not a problem. And the other variance is a gentleman wanted to add an enclosed deck in the back of his house, and he needed a variance because of where the deck would end in reference to the next property line, and that was also approved. Other than that, progress.
Thank you.
I have New Jersey School Boards Association. Just a few notes about the convention this year. We are able to register 18 people. They also have this year 10 programs from the Department of Education for facilities to certify different classes for facilities. There are 69 technology-ready, future-ready programs. It's a little different this year. They've gone green and paperless. So if you are registered for the convention, you will receive a confirmation email to your school account. That will have a barcode. You take the barcode on whatever device you have, and when you get to the convention, you will scan it, and they will print out your badge. And then your badge will be your ID for each class that you go to, that you will receive credits. Certain classes you will get credits towards your certification. Online, if you go to your app store, Android or Google or Apple, you can download the Workshop 2017 app, and it is a schedule, paperless schedule, that everything is color-coded, so you can pick out what classes you would like to attend. There's green initiative, there's technology, there's curriculum, and there's a whole extra. There will be 7 student performances, including a steam tank presentation. They have 38 schools competing, and they're competing for a grant. There's a K-8 grouping and a high school grouping. Big news was the U.S. Army is a huge sponsor of us this year. I believe, I don't wanna say the amount, but I believe it was $50,000 in sponsorships. So they've paid for, steam tank and also Escape the Bus. There's gonna be like an escape room, but it's a bus on the convention floor.
I wanna do it.
So if you would like to, we could try to do that as a team building thing, just a thing.
Our president says no.
You guys can do whatever you want, I'll take pictures.
So the most important thing, if you can take away from this, is sketch on the Apple Store and your email confirmation. Make sure you have that with you to scan.
Thank you.
I can do it, and if you can't, I've already done it. Got the app, you guys can do it.
Thank you, Naomi.
Okay?
Angel, there's nothing for negotiations.
Not yet,
Okay.
soon. No, we have another. Yeah, we start a little early. Next year?
It's just one so far?
Got like
Just
5 or
one
6
resolution
months
so far?
left.
Yes.
All right, at this time, we are going to go into executive session, so I need a motion to go into executive.
I'll make that motion this time.
Motion made by Maria, seconded by Patty. Whereas the Senator Byron and Bear Open Public Meetings Act requires all meetings of the Runnemede School District Board of Education to be held in public, NJSA 10:4-12B sets forth 9 types of matters that may lawfully be discussed in executive session without the public being permitted to attend. Whereas the Runnemede Public School District Board of Education has deemed it necessary to go into closed session to discuss certain matters which are exempted from the public. And whereas the 9 exemptions to the public meetings set forth in NJSA 10:4-12B are listed below, and next to each exemption is a box within the number of issues to be privately discussed that fall within that exemption shall be written, and after each exemption is a space for additional information that will disclose as much information about the decision as possible without undermining the purpose of the exemption shall be written. Now therefore it be resolved that the Runnemede Public School District Board of Education will go into closed session for the following reasons outlined in NJSA 10:4-12B. Any matter involving the employment, appointment, termination of employment, terms and conditions of employment, evaluation of the performance, promotion or discipline of any specific prospective public officer or employee or current public officer or employee employed or appointed by the public body, unless all individual employees or appointees whose rights could be adversely affected request in writing that such matter or matters be discussed at a public meeting. More specifically, we'll be discussing the vacant board seat. Whereas the length of the executive session is not determined, however, the Runnemede Public School District Board of Education will make every attempt to estimate the time of the session prior to convening the session after the public shall reconvene within 30 minutes, and the Runnemede Public School District Board of Education will proceed with business. Now therefore be it resolved that the Runnemede Public School District Board of Education will go into executive session for only the above stated reasons. Be it further resolved that the Runnemede Public School District Board of Education hereby declares that its discussion of the aforementioned subjects may be made public at a time when the Runnemede Public School District Board of Education attorney advises the disclosure of the discussion will not detrimentally affect any right, interest, or duty of the school district or any other entity with respect to said discussion. Be it further resolved that the Runnemede Public School District Board of Education, for the aforementioned reasons, hereby declares that the public is excluded from the portion of the meeting during which the above discussion shall take place, and hereby directs the board secretary to take the appropriate action to effectuate terms of this resolution. Be it further resolved, the board secretary on the next business day following this meeting shall furnish a copy of this resolution to any member of the public who requests one at the fees allowed by NJSA 47:1A. Action on any item may or may not be taken in open session at the conclusion of the executive session. All in favor for executive session?
Aye.
Ayes have it. We will be going into executive session. At this time, we would like to thank the board candidates for coming out this evening and talking to us. We appreciate the fact that we had 3 people interested, because normally we don't even have 3 people, members of the public, at our meeting. So the board has decided to go with Daniel Murray as our next candidate, to appoint Daniel Murray. We're going to be making a motion, but we'd like to thank Mr. Hummel and Mrs. Sams.
Absolutely.
Please don't give up or stop coming, and we just thank you. We need you to be active members of our community, so I hope that you will continue to be that. So I need a motion to approve Daniel Murray to fill the remaining term through December 17 position on the Runnemede Board of Education.
I make the motion to approve Daniel Murray as the school board member to fill the position through December of 2017.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Patty, I'm sorry, Patty.
I was gonna yell it.
I'm sorry, Patty, I would never.
Can I just add, for the people that are still, keep running, because it took me 2 terms to get here, so. But I was determined, so, keep going.
Roll call?
Ms. Adair?
Yes.
Ms. Beebe?
Yes.
Mr. Buckheim?
Yes.
Ms. Davidson?
Yes.
Mr. Lego?
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella?
Yes.
Ms. Spalding?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Congratulations, Dean.
Congratulations.
You're gonna come up here with us.
I'll take pictures.
Go into the office now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Do you want to do the other office? I now print it out, so that way we know exactly what we're saying.
Does the board want to be in the picture? Excuse me.
There we go. Then after that, we'll have. I'm gonna hold this with you so that way. Okay, so you're gonna repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Daniel Murray,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States,
and this state under the authority of the people, so help me God.
and in this state under the authority of the people, so help me God.
I state your name.
I, Daniel Murray,
Do solemnly swear that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law
do solemnly swear that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law
for the office of member of a Board of Education,
for the office of member of the Board of Education,
that I am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to NJSA 19:4-1,
that I am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to NJS 19:4-1,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations.
You're gonna sit next to Maria?
I got you a partner.
Dan, I'll help you out on that next meeting, I promise.
Oh my God. You know, this takes sex to be empty.
Here?
Yeah.
Really?
Here, let me give you a pen.
Yeah, there's one right before the
So Maria, we're gonna move on to new business.
Oh,
Would
can
you
I
just-
read? Oh, can I?
Oh, yeah, would you
Oh,
like to
okay.
do that now? Sure.
I would. It's
Sure.
Okay, as of today, in addition to, my ongoing issues, we have a board member, Missy Anderson, who has missed 5, board meetings, in a row. I would like to recommend that at this time, we inform her of our concerns and vote to remove her at our next meeting, unless she would like to come and, you know, defend or ask or explain or what have you.
Sure, so according to our policy, we're going to publicly make that statement, so
Right.
that way the board's all on the same page, and we're gonna, contact Ms. Anderson and let her know. Ms. Ryanucci and I will do that together.
Okay.
And, we'll go ahead with that at the next meeting. There'll be like a mini hearing if she's interested, if not, then she'll have to resign.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so you told me this was that we were.
So if you could just show Dan where we're at here
Oh,
with new
absolutely.
business.
Okay, so, yes.
And just so you know, Dan, there's nothing here that we're gonna vote on that is like, that you could not vote on. So like if you agree with field trips and use of facilities, at this time, you could vote yes, okay? There's nothing you'd have to abstain from.
Okay.
Okay, so new business.
And could we please, everybody right now, could you look at finance before we go on? And under 2, the professional development workshops, we'll cross out Bacon and we'll add Daniel Murray, and we'll also add Dennis Legault, because that wasn't added. He was not added. So it should say Patty, Arlene, Angel, Charles, Naomi, Mark, Sean, Maria, Samantha, and Daniel, and Dennis. And hashtag. It's not hashtag. Star, hashtag, whatever. Just so we're voting on the correct stuff, because when we run through this quickly, okay? So So at this time, I need a motion to approve under property and transportation, use of facility and field trips.
I make a motion to approve under property and transportation, facility use and field trips.
Motion made by Maria, seconded by Chaz. Does anyone have any questions? If I'm going too fast, you can stop me, okay? If there's no question, roll call.
Ms. Adair?
Yes.
Ms. Beebe?
Yes.
Mr. Buckon?
Yes.
Ms. Davidson?
Yes.
Mr. Leo?
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella?
Yes.
Ms. Spalding?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Under personnel, we have items numbers 1 through 6.
I'll make a motion to approve items 1 through 6 under personnel.
Second?
Motion made by Maria, seconded by Naomi. Any personnel questions? Roll call.
Ms. Adair?
Yes.
Ms. Beebe?
Yes.
Mr. Buckon?
Yes.
Ms. Davidson?
Yes.
Mr. Lego?
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella?
Yes.
Ms. Spalding?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Finance, a motion to approve items numbers 1 to 7, being sure that we add Dennis and Daniel to our professional development workshop in October.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Chaz, seconded by Patty. Any questions? Roll call.
Ms. Adair?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson? I'm sorry, Ms. Beebe?
Yes.
Mr. Buckon?
Yes.
Ms. Davidson?
Yes.
Mr. Lego?
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella?
Yes.
Ms. Spalding?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Under curriculum, we need a motion to approve items numbers 1 through 4.
I'd like to make a motion under curriculum to approve item number 1 through 4.
I'll second.
Motion made by Naomi, seconded by Patty. Any questions? Roll call.
Ms. Adair?
Yes.
Ms. Beebe?
Yes.
Mr. Buckon?
Yes.
Ms. Davidson?
Yes.
Mr. Lego?
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella?
Yes.
Ms. Spalding?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Under policy and public relations, we need to approve items numbers 1 through 8.
I'll make a motion to approve items 1 through 8 under policies and public relations.
Second?
Motion made by Maria, seconded by Naomi.
And that's awesome.
Roll call.
Ms. Adair?
Yes.
Ms. Beebe?
Yes.
Mr. Buckon?
Yes.
Ms. Davidson?
Yes.
Mr. Lego?
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella?
Yes.
Ms. Spalding?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mrs. Yezi, could you please thank Ms. Mazoon and Mrs. Duncan for going out, because I can't wait to come in and see the wobble stools. I might steal one, because they're really awesome. They're incredible.
Great.
You would think that they wouldn't work, but they truly do. I mean, you know, everyone,
I absolutely will.
yeah, send our thank you. I'm excited for that.
I have a question for you. The day that they're going to playground, are there gonna be like refreshments and things for people?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to be in Missouri at that
Okay.
time. I'd like to make a donation towards those, so I'll see you after the
That would be
meeting.
great. I'll touch base with you
Okay.
in 2 weeks. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you as always, Chaz.
At this time, we are open for public comment on non-agenda items or agenda items. Any public comment at this time? No? Okay, our next board meeting is on October 17th because of the convention. Okay?
When is it? October 17th?
October 17th.
October 17th.
I'm good on anything with the fourth.
Okay, yes, I know that, but but the next couple months, I think we're good.
Yeah, we did.
Okay? So at this time, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to
Yeah,
adjourn.
sorry.
Motion made by Patty, seconded by Dennis. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Meeting's adjourned. Welcome, Ms.